So don't worry, Brian. Edward also wasn't here, so it's not just you. Make you feel better.
Yeah, I just got here.
I don't know where Brian L is. I didn't get any message from him or anything, and I don't know where the other people are. We were supposed to have somebody else here. Do you remember his name, Brian? See, I don't remember his name. The guy we've been talking to over email.
Brian, you're muted. You need to unmute.
Oh yeah, Brian, you're muted. Still muted.
There you go.
There. Is that better?
Way
Yeah,
better.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay. Excellent, guys.
I forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah, there was somebody that said they were going to be here this week, but I'm not sure why they're not here.
7.
And
He called himself 7. Remember?
was it 7 or 70?
70.
70. That's right. 70. Yeah. So I was hoping to hear from him today. Too bad he's not
and
here.
he can email me. If he has trouble, I guess he'll email me. All right, you guys want to get started?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
We might as well talk about the new. We have so many new things in the past week. One thing is we actually have a live website now. It's not the main website. It's just a landing. It's just what is it? Coming soon.
It's just
page.
a coming soon page, under construction page.
Yeah.
But we do have
Edward,
KAOS now up and running.
Edward, so like a timeline. When do you think we'll have the new thing?
Barring complications, I should have it up by the end of next Sunday.
Okay, so there's no reason to like try to update this thing. Once that thing is live, what is it going to take for me or Brian or to make changes? Are we going to have? Am I going to have access to the back end to edit Joomla?
Well, that was something I wanted to talk to y'all about. Who all to have access to the back end?
I mean, we could leave it where it's just you, and when we want changes, we email you and you make the changes.
I think that would be a good idea for right now, just for a simple fact. I'm going to know the layout of the system, how it runs.
Yeah, and I don't really want to. I mean, I never used it, so I don't want to go in there and fuck things up and make it harder for you. And
right now,
I definitely don't want to go in there.
Oh hell no, we don't want you in there.
I definitely don't. I'm not going in there. Yeah, so I don't need the access.
But I would like to eventually. So Edward, I'd like to eventually be back there once you've learned everything, and
no problem.
It's also for personal reasons because I want to learn Joomla so I can use it for myself for other situations.
Sure, no problem, no problem. We can get it.
But I'm patient. I know it's going to take a long time.
Well, we've got so many moving parts I've got to build together, and I put myself on a tight timeline to do it. So that's why I said barring complications next week.
Well, I don't want you to feel any pressure from us or whatever. I think we're moving faster than we ever did.
Well, I'm going to get our main Joomla page up. I know we talked about doing the blog and doing like a forum setup. So I'm going to focus on Joomla. We'll get the blog up next, and then we'll get the forum up and running.
When you say forum, you mean like a discussion place?
Yes.
Do you think that should be? I guess it could be directly on that website. Yeah.
Oh, it'll all be on the website. It'll just be a subdomain of the website. So it'd be like going to it. Be like
discussion.
Yeah, it'd be kind of like the way Reddit is, where you go into this specific part.
Yeah.
Except it's going to be, for example.
I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about getting that part of it going. All the other parts matter a lot more.
Yeah. My main focus right now is get the main front end up and running, get Joomla on place. I'll probably get the blog in set up next. That way Brian can start blogging.
So by the way, let's question that for a second. Is it worth it to already have a blog set up when that's what Substack was for?
Or that's up to Brian.
I'm not sure what to do with Substack these days. I haven't been posting anything on there. I assume it'd be another outlet, to be able to recruit.
I mean, it could be just the exact same thing as what's on the blog.
I'd like to pursue it more. Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I think everything in the future I think everything in the future I'm going to post on the blog. I'm going to post it if we have one. I'm going to post it on what do you call it, Substack, and I'm also going to post it on the Reddit sub. I think I'll just post it everywhere.
So Edward, I would say right now
write
the blog part of it is also not high priority.
Right. My high priority right now is the main
part of it, yeah. And I would
That's
say
my
email is
priority.
also not high priority. I know you set it up already.
Yeah,
and
I did set it up.
I was thinking about what it's going to take for me to switch to it, and I realized we all kind of have to switch at the same time. And when I say that, first of all, not all of us necessarily need the email. It's only the people that have outward-facing communications with other people. Right? So, like, me and Brian do that, but I don't think anyone else does. So it's probably not worth it to do it for everyone and make everyone switch, when they don't really need to.
I was thinking with core principle. I was thinking just and self because I'm doing the admin work on it.
Yeah, you would have to have one since you're doing admin work. Yeah. But anyway, the point is not everyone needs it, and I don't want to make everyone switch or whatever.
Oh no, I've already got them all set up for the 3 that I think need to have access. The founder, which is Brian.
You and Brian?
Yep.
Okay. And then
I've got those set up. I do have a problem that we need to address after the meeting, though, Rami. I've got to get. It's not something I want to go over the air with.
Okay.
You cut out for a second. You don't want to go over the air with.
I don't want to go over the air because it deals with sensitive information dealing with the server.
Like passwords.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll try to end this call early to leave you and I like 15 minutes to talk.
That's fine.
Okay. I want to talk about
Edward.
Yes,
Edward, where's the physical server?
Physical server itself is at hostgator.com. It's a professional.
Yeah. Okay, I understand.
And the access is going to be kaosnow.com.
I mean, technically, we don't know where they physically are, and they could be in 5 different places, right?
Yeah, they could, but they're based in Houston. They've got servers worldwide.
You know their address. You go over there and talk to them.
Been to their office. I've been to their office. It's a nice place.
Oh, really? You've been to their office?
I actually applied to work there.
Oh, shit. Okay. If that's done, I'd like to talk about the next thing.
Okay.
You guys heard us talking about podcast. Brian and I talked about that, and we realized an obvious thing, which is it shouldn't be KAOS. It's not a KAOS podcast. It's a separate thing, loosely connected to KAOS, only in the sense that the people on the podcast happen to be the people running KAOS. And we think it should be that way for the same reasons Ernst keeps bringing up, which is,
have a little bit of a separate identity.
Well, like if we had a KAOS podcast, it's like we're trying to infuse our political ideas directly into the user base through the podcast.
Yeah. We want to talk politics, but we want to be able to do it so that it's not related to.
So that changes some of the logistics I was planning. I don't really know where to put up the podcast yet, since we don't have one now. I think it would need a completely separate YouTube channel. But on a nice note, here's a really cool name Brian came up with. Who you calling stupid? Stupid? Brian, you want to tell him why you came up with that?
I came up with that because I've often felt like, and I've also been accused of calling people stupid, just when I'm discussing things, or I don't really mean to call people stupid, but when you're criticizing their ideas, they take it as if you're calling them stupid sometimes. So I thought it would be great just to kind of open it up so that people don't take it as such a harsh statement, or take it personally. So I like the idea of being able to throw around words like that and invite people to call me stupid. If we do a podcast, I'll be going, please call in and tell me why I'm stupid. And I may not actually be calling people stupid, but sometimes they take it that way. And I would like to kind of set the table in a way that you shouldn't be offended. I'm not offended if you call me stupid. You shouldn't be offended if I call you stupid, you know. And then the tie-in between this and KAOS is that, you know, kind of the theme of the whole thing is that everybody's stupid in some way, right? But together, all of us working together are smarter as a
And
group.
that's like the tagline, and we'll make it sound better, but that's the tagline, and that's the thing we would say at the beginning of every one of the podcast episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, Rami, I am trying to think of what you're referring to when you say what Ernst is saying about podcasts. And I think what you're doing, you're taking what I said about the newsletter and applied it to the podcast, which is a different animal.
Oh, you think so?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what you mean.
A podcast can be like an article. A newsletter is a collection of articles that is devoted to a certain agenda.
Okay, so then maybe I'm adding too much here. Are you suggesting maybe we should make the podcast directly related?
Well,
to
I don't know. Like if you have a reason to make a podcast about some topic, make it and post it. That's relevant.
So the podcast is about democracy in general,
Yeah.
right? Direct democracy, why we need it, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So is it worth it to also heavily talk about KAOS a ton during the podcast episodes?
I think not.
So then a separate name and disconnected then, right?
Just a podcast that is of interest to people who would be interested in KAOS, and then post it wherever KAOS has a presence.
So do you think it should have
The
name
website,
KAOS in
Reddit,
it anywhere?
etc. Pardon me?
So do you think it should have the name KAOS in it anywhere?
I just said no.
You said no.
Earlier.
Okay,
I
sorry.
said no.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can get by with like the description affiliated.
I
with
think
KAOS
that's
or
cheesy,
something like
actually.
that.
Which part is cheesy?
Having a podcast that's like relevant to the topic and always finding a way to insert KAOS in there.
Oh yeah.
If it's going to be on the website, if it's going to be on our Reddit page, if it's going to be on our other presences, we don't need to be that way.
Yeah, so then people would see it as, and it would be literally like this: we're using the podcast to promote KAOS.
Well,
Right?
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because they came to KAOS to get the podcast in the first place. They came to our YouTube page. They came to our Reddit site. They came to our website. They know where they are. We don't need to tell them where they are.
For the people that came to KAOS and then went to the podcast, yes. But
if
people
people
come to the podcast first.
I mean, look at the gentleman we had
because
2 weeks ago.
somebody shared it or something, you mean, to some other site.
Or otherwise found it. If it's on YouTube, YouTube is showing it to all sorts of people.
Yeah.
But doesn't it say where it came from?
No.
Doesn't it? What are you asking?
Really?
If you post it on YouTube, it's no longer possible to download videos from YouTube. So if you share it on YouTube to somewhere, there's going to be information about where it was shared from. I'm pretty sure. I haven't checked this, but I can't see why there wouldn't be.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost.
So it will say this came from KAOS Now.
Yeah.
Right,
I don't
Brian?
see the problem. I don't quite see the problem though. Them relating the two together, even if they are very separate things. You know,
I'm fine relating them, but it's a very loose connection.
I'm talking about things that attract me and things that kind of make me go, right? So I'm going by like if I'm the person watching this podcast and I just got it from KAOS and they spend any amount of time talking about KAOS Now, which I already know, I feel they're wasting my time.
Yeah.
I feel they're talking to occupy my time. And I don't think that's what democracy ever needs. That's what bullshit needs.
To be clear, democracy.
Yeah. I see it as a what do you call it? Keeping up with the times, talking about what's going on at the moment. I don't see it tied so much to KAOS, but every once in a while we mention that we are part of the KAOS team. But I would also be very specific many times in the show to specify these are our own personal views and they don't reflect on KAOS. right?
No, that's another
You know,
reason not to go on about chaos too much.
yeah, yeah. You know, I don't think we want to hide the connection to chaos, but at the same time, we want to continuously be reminding everybody that chaos is a bipartisan project, has nothing to do with our political views personally. We could even start off every time with a bit of a statement of that type, you know, to keep us separate, and because it's very important that our opinions, you know, they know that these are our personal opinions. They don't have anything to do with, you know, how, you know, chaos works or how it's going to, you know, we're not promoting certain things.
We're going to keep the same style that Brian has with all the podcasts I did with him, where every time he said his own opinion about some political issue or whatever, he would preface it by saying, me as a user, here's what I think, not me as the founder of chaos. Here's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I might say something like, once the chaos system is up and running, this is the type of agenda I will be pushing. You will have your agenda. Everybody will have their own agenda. And I'm just another person like everybody else trying to influence.
And you're trying to put that disclaimer everywhere.
Yes, I'm going to try and put that disclaimer everywhere. Yeah.
I would also recommend putting a link. I would also recommend putting a link in the description of the podcast saying affiliated with KAOS, you know, because Ernst, you were mentioning the fact no one can download YouTube. I can download YouTube videos left and right. There's a program out there called YTDL. It's strictly for downloading videos.
Yeah, I also download YouTube videos. I can give you my I mean, I have to download my own
YTDL, you say?
YouTube.
Yeah, YT_DL.
You know what I mean? Like YouTube doesn't let me download it. I have to back end download the shit against YouTube's will.
But you can download
my own video
software. Yeah. But I could go in and download your video right now and you wouldn't even know about it.
Yep.
Yeah, but recently
you got the share links.
YouTube tightened up on their download capacity just half a year ago or so. They made it almost impossible to download without being in the know, you know, without being on computers quite a lot and being able to find these things.
And usually
used to be
the people
just
that are
a browser
are the ones that are doing it.
Used to be able to do it with browser attachments.
Okay, so still on the topic of the podcast, but on logistics now and timeline and shit. You guys have seen all sorts of podcasts. You know, there's audio ones, there's ones with video. There's, you know, it used to be where the podcasts were on millions of platforms, all of them, but some people now do it just on one platform. One of the things is we really want to make it easy on ourselves. So what do you guys think? Should this just be audio?
No. I think some people would like to see it. Yeah.
You want to see a face phone with the voice.
Okay, so then the next thing is, where is it? And I found, and this is what I do, is the easiest thing is fucking YouTube. And for one thing, YouTube is, out of all the platforms, it does the best, as far as I know, it does the best showing it to more people.
Has the biggest audience.
Yeah.
Does that, you know, I have an app on my phone that gets me.
It's not connected to anything like that. Yeah, if you have a podcast app, it will not show you YouTube stuff. And YouTube did that intentionally to separate itself from all that other stuff.
Well, some of the podcasts I listen to do have YouTube versions.
So they're doing two things. Let's say, I don't know where they're recording initially, but then they pump it out to YouTube and to the other platforms.
That's what I assume.
I don't do that now, but that is something we could do. That's probably the better way to do it. But then, Edward, I need your help with that shit. That's technical stuff. It's so much. I tried to solve that problem. I gave up.
Oh, great. Because with the YTDL program I use,
you already know how to do it. Okay.
I can download just the voice, the speaking part. I don't have to download the video. I can separate it out where you've got the audio, the video, and the combined.
Yeah. I guess more so I quit just because it's a big job. I guess that's what it is. So I guess are you guys agreeing that we should put it on YouTube and the standard podcast,
Yeah.
which lets it put it everywhere?
Yeah.
And then that means there's
wherever we have time to put it.
Yeah.
Really.
That'll
Okay, so now
also
the
help
next
draw
question
people to the
is-
site.
Huh?
That'll also help draw people to the site, which
Yeah,
will help
would.
increase our user base and get us a bigger presence.
So now this means our website would have a page about the podcast. Wait, no, we don't want to do that. Well, I guess we would need a separate. Should we have a website for this podcast?
No,
I don't think it's
easily-
necessary.
we can set up a page dealing with the podcast and say, hey, you can listen here or see here with
A page
links
where?
to them. In Joomla, we can have its own little subheading.
You mean on our
of
website?
podcast.
So do you guys
Yeah.
think the KAOS Now website should have a page sending people to the podcast?
I think it would be a good idea. I mean,
Why
we're gonna be
not?
affiliated with it.
Yeah.
So you guys
Why
like
not?
that?
Makes sense.
Why not? Yeah.
All right. We got to put a big
Oh.
disclaimer on there. This is
Can
just
I say-
our personal opinions.
Mhm.
Can I say one thing about mentioning KAOS Now in podcasts? Why don't we just put a little label on the bottom right or left hand of the screen that says chaosnow.com, and then we don't have to mention it, but it's always there at the same time.
Maybe a
And it's
disclaimer
really-
there too.
It's not really intrusive, you know?
Yeah, but maybe a disclaimer there too. That this is,
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
all opinions on this podcast do not reflect on KAOS itself, the institution.
Well, I don't know why we need it.
The disclaimer.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think we need it.
Why? Is there
Well,
some
because-
legal
well, it's not
reason
gonna
that we
hurt.
need it? I don't
I just
know.
don't
It
think it
just
would
seems like
hurt.
a lot. It seems like a
Well, it
lot
could
to
hurt
write
because
on the
it's
screen
going
and
for
keep there the
concise.
whole time.
Yeah.
What? What's that, Rami?
It could hurt if the goal is conciseness, and then adding more
Yes.
disclaimers breaks the conciseness.
That's yes. Well,
I
maybe
know
just
where
put
you're going with this, Ernst. I can
leave
be
KAOS now. Leave KAOS Now on the screen, and then just put the disclaimers for a small period of time on the screen. How about that, Brian?
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
So, page on UTC website for the podcast in video and audio, YouTube and everywhere. By the way,
Is there-
Edward, a technical
Yeah.
issue, technical question too. You know, Spotify is the other really big competitor to YouTube, and they do audio and video. And I also know that they've recently started to be like YouTube in that they're trying to put everything in their own system, where the original podcast concept was they're trying to pump it out everywhere, where there's no one central podcast system that is trying to be just me.
Yeah, it's
YouTube
not
and
centralized.
Spotify are doing that though. So the question is, if we put it on YouTube, what's the other place we're putting it? Are we putting it on Spotify? Or do we put it on our own thing and then let Spotify and everyone else just draw from there?
I'd have to look into the Spotify and see if there's
Okay.
Oh, you
that
cut out,
have to
Edward.
play a major. Sorry, I'm going to have to check with Spotify's process to see if there's a cost towards us or anything.
Okay, and
Yeah,
make that very
Spotify
low
can't
priority. Don't let that get in the way of the website and stuff. You know, this will probably be months or whatever.
Yeah, my priority right now is to get the website up and running, and then I've got my plan of attack, but I'm utilizing my time right now. I'm focusing everything on getting the main website up and running, and then I'll focus on the peripherals.
Mostly, we should work on one thing at a time. Yeah.
Mhm.
I want to have the site up and running, then I'll work on the peripheral sides.
So obvious point, the podcast episode we have now, we're not going to publish it until all that is done. So then the next question is, Brian, I think it's still worth it. Every time you meet someone, try to do a podcast, but let them know we're not publishing until we have the podcast going.
Okay.
And
so-
that means try to avoid saying things like, next week, so-and-so is happening, because it'll be
Yeah.
months later.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't assume anything for schedule. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You know how it is with assuming; it makes an ass out of you and me.
Okay, we done with the podcast?
Yeah, I think so.
I had a small little idea about crowdfunding. You know, in the crowdfunding things, they have like multiple levels of how much money you give, and each additional level gives you something extra. Well, here's something extra I thought of: a meeting with Brian, the founder.
If
now,
I'm doing a meeting,
now here's the thing: people can already get a meeting with you.
Yeah, that's what
you know. Maybe they don't know that, and doing the crowdfunding thing, they see, oh shit, I get to have a guaranteed meeting with the founder. And in a sense, now it's sort of guaranteed because we have almost no one. But when we start getting a lot of people, we're gonna have to pick and choose who we get, and the crowdfunding thing might be the way we pick and choose.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know if it's. I don't know. I don't know if it's a big gift that they get to talk to me, but
I think it is. And another variation could be getting on the live stream. And again, anyone can, but as we get busier, we have to have a filtering process, and maybe we use the crowdfunding money for that. Partly.
I don't think I want to make people feel like they have to pay to participate. So I don't know if that's the best way to go about that.
It's very liquid democracy.
Yeah.
Well, see, and one of the problems we run into when it comes to paying and whatnot, when it comes, like your prospect of have a meeting with the founder or something like that.
Yeah.
Then we get into the glitch, if you will, of okay, so these people are paying to get their viewpoints across, so they're being bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want that to be our single purpose.
Yeah, I think.
Well, we won't go far. We won't go far if people sense that about us, even in the slightest.
Yeah. So I think we should avoid that
even the impression of it fucks things up. So don't do it at all.
I'd say
at this point, yeah.
Yeah, I think if we would, I think we'd have to stick to the standard gift type of things that they do, like T-shirts and stuff like that. Once we get a little bit of money,
a merch store.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big priority, but like you said, people do like to get these things, and
that's good, Brian. Give them presents for donating. That works. And it can be advertising.
Right? Yeah, it could be advertising.
KAOS Now T-shirt.
Yeah.
The KAOS Now biker vest.
Yeah.
I was also looking into Patreon, which is a funding source that people can use. Hey, support us through Patreon, and it's a donation system. It's the merch store. It's all of that stuff,
and it's designed to be trying to encourage people to do it monthly. Where crowdfunding isn't, it's like one time.
Right.
Yeah, we need to talk about this a little more because, a lot of these organizations, they take a lot of the money. There's maybe an opportunity that we create our own, or some more direct. Maybe have an option that they can do a more direct.
Yeah, a lot of people do both. You can directly donate, or you can use like a Patreon.
I'm not sure how we're going to get people to donate. I'm not sure how we're going to get people to donate before we're up and running. Before we have something to show
we're
up.
Talking. Yeah,
we're putting the horse before the cart right now.
We're just talking about stuff that'll happen in the future. We're not ready for asking for money at all yet. Yeah, you're right. We need something to show them before we can start doing that.
Right now, I have no problem covering the costs for the server and that. So.
Yeah.
Well,
but when we do go to do it, we might want to try to figure out a direct method of payment.
By the way,
how much does the server cost?
Costing $15 a month.
That's not too shabby.
Okay.
Well, I just want to be clear. Brian said he'll pay for that.
Yes,
I paid for it up off the bat. Brian, I know you're in Canada, so we've got a price discrepancy between the dollar amount, what the dollars are. But if you could, we can discuss that a little bit.
I'll make arrangements and I'll send you something like $100 or something to get it, so we cover it for a while, and then you don't have to worry about it. And you know, and any other little expenses like that. And so we'll
Yeah,
make
because I know
arrangements.
for $150 I can pay for a whole year.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll go ahead and do that.
150 American dollars.
Yeah. So it'll be like 200 to me.
285.
The domain name now is with Edward. Edward owns it now, or like he's the admin.
It's
It's
registered
not with
to me
GoDaddy
as
anymore. It's with what is it?
HostGator.
HostGator.
Yep.
And he got a year's free worth of domain name. So now we're like 2 years out before you have to pay that again. And the point is, Edward would be the one paying it. You'd be giving him the money.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm put down as the webmaster and that on that for right now. We can change that as needed if I get voted out of the position. Same with the admin email and all that. We can that all change. If I get voted out, someone else comes in, I can give them the information to get themselves up and running that.
Yeah, so one of the things you would be working on alongside the main project is documenting all the data that and somebody would need to replace you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I am documenting it. I've got the receipt, all that. It's literally a case of, who knows what's going to happen. I could be here for a couple of years. I could be here for 6 months. I don't know.
You could die tomorrow. That's why we need to hurry.
I could die tomorrow. Yeah. So I mean, I'm documenting things, and getting all that set up and that. I'm setting up a folder specifically for the documentation. It'll be accessible on the back side of the website for whoever comes in. That way it's not out in public view because we're dealing with some sensitive information, dealing with passwords, things like that for the database and all that. So, that we don't want that in public view. Otherwise we can get doxxed.
So the kind of people, so this is like a new topic or whatever, but it's an old topic. The kind of people we're looking for right now are like somebody that can help us build a crowdfunding campaign, a marketing specialist, maybe people that have experience with startups, of course, programmers, but then also, and I think maybe we have somebody like this now. He didn't end up coming today, but we've been exchanging a lot of emails over the past week. Somebody that's been involved in, Brian, what did he call it?
LLPs, nonprofit.
Yeah, there was another word. It starts with a C. I don't remember.
You're talking about cooperatives.
Cooperatives, yeah. And the point is that's the legal structure.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we need also somebody that understands how the legal structure should be for something like this.
Yeah.
And
that guy sounded like he knew a lot.
We need to get all those people before we expect anyone to give us a dime.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Another thing we need to definitely look at. I know, Brian, you're in Canada. I'm here in the States. To give you the examples, Rami's in the States. Ernst, you're in Canada.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we need to have the nonprofit registered, at least in the United States, for 501c, so we don't get taxed on any income that comes in. Yeah. I don't know what it is in Canada, if they've got anything like that or not.
Well, so to be clear, is that something we need to worry about before we expect a dime from anyone?
It would be a good idea to do.
If somebody,
it's to cover it's a liability issue.
If somebody donates money to us, is that income that can be taxed? Is that the same in Canada, Brian? Any idea?
I'm not sure. I think over a certain amount. I think there's a certain amount you can give people without worrying about tax, but I'm not positive or the amount.
Yeah, I have to look deeper into it, but it's something that.
I mean, we also look more serious to everyone if we do have that going.
Mm-hmm. List this as a non. We can
And
list
that's
ourselves
something like
as a nonprofit.
$175 the first year.
I think so. Something like that. I'll
Something
have
like
to look
that.
into it deeper.
I don't really want to do it, so maybe we do it in Texas, where Edward is. Maybe Texas would be better than Illinois for those things anyway.
Could be. I mean,
I don't know
I'll
anything
look
about
into
it.
it. I'll
Yeah,
look into it, and we'll go from there. I know I was involved with one up in Wisconsin.
And then
it's not
aside
that
from
hard,
the
so.
state registration, there's also the federal registration to actually get the 503c
501c labeling. Yep, that gives us our tax exempt status.
And that, I don't know how much money that costs.
I don't either. I'll look into it this week. Because we're pushing that we're nonprofit, which means any funds we get in to start off with strictly goes towards the cost of running this. That's no income coming to us out of it.
Yeah.
Right. And so, we to declare, hey, every dime we get is going towards server costs, going towards this cost.
And by the way, not only that, but Brian or anyone's personal money put into KAOS when there's a nonprofit umbrella means for your own personal income, that's a donation exemption. And it's not your income anymore. It brings your income down.
Well, certain organizations apply, others don't. You have to have be registered as somebody who you can donate to, and then the people who donated to you can take it off your tax, and not everybody can get that registration.
Yeah, and that's the registration that Edward and I were talking about, but I don't know anything about Canada.
Yeah. So we're talking to
both countries.
We obviously have a lot of legal things we have to get on top of,
which means we really can't do anything until we have a international lawyer that deals with nonprofits who join us.
You should see what AI has to see about these issues.
Yeah. That can help a lot.
Before you start wasting money on a lawyer, so get some background, right?
Oh, I wasn't even saying money. I was saying a guy like that happens to love our project and talks to us a little bit for free.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Well, that's a better idea too.
Yes. I suspect we'll get a lawyer in here not too long. I don't think it'll take too long. We'll get a lawyer in.
But with our situation, we definitely got to cover international laws. Can't specifically target like the U.S. or specifically target Canada. We've got to international.
That's
we're going to need a team of lawyers. We're going to need a team of lawyers.
Yeah, because we're going to need a representative in every country. But that would go towards the expenses of the nonprofit. So,
all right, so I'm adding that to the list of people we need.
There's another person I'd like you to add of people that we need. I don't know if you guys maybe have this skill, but I've been thinking more and more about memes, and I'd sure like to have somebody that could draw cartoons well, and to put together memes. And so most memes I see in my head, it's like a cartoon image, and I'm no expert on memes. I've never made a meme before. Or try
any photo with text in the same frame is a meme.
Yeah. But the way I envision the memes I'm thinking of, I can only envision them as a cartoon,
like a political cartoon.
Like a political cartoon, yes. And so anyway, I'd sure like to be able to chat with somebody that could do some good cartoons, and maybe could try to work on some ideas.
I can hardly draw a straight line.
Yeah. I'm nervous.
You mean like a graphic designer?
An artiste.
Anybody that could draw, an artist, anybody that could draw a cartoon and make it look decent. It doesn't have to look, if you look at some cartoons, they don't, the stick figure is almost as good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not looking
I think they call themselves graphic designers unless they're drawing on paper.
Yeah.
Well, cartoonists or people that just do it for hobby, there's lots of people that just doodle and stuff like that.
All right, so I'm putting that in the list. But how do I word it? What they're doing to interest them, like making memes.
Yeah,
that's
media posts.
They'll know what you're talking about if they're into it.
That's right.
If they got questions, we can answer them.
Yeah.
And whatever this list I'm making, you guys will edit, or Edward or I'm sorry, Ernst. Whenever you and Brian like finish that post, you could just change it however you want. My wording is not that important. You guys can change it.
You mean the post I wrote last week?
Yeah.
Did you see it, Brian?
No. What was it? Remind me.
It's on Reddit. It's a call to action. It starts with.
Yeah, I read that one.
And you posted it on our sub.
Yes.
Yeah, because the idea is it's a draft, and
I started off trying to rewrite that thing you wrote, and then I just gave up and wrote what I wrote, which I think encompasses all the information you have, but just a slightly more compact, different form.
Oh, I don't think I saw that. No, Edward.
Take a look.
Or, Ernst. Yeah.
I'm going to tag you in that. Okay, Brian?
Yeah. Okay. I'll look at it. I'm surprised it didn't show up on my feed often.
You know what? I did tag you already.
Yeah, I got an email dealing with it.
But no, I mean an actual tag, like a Reddit tag, you/your opinion. But you never replied.
Oh yeah, that was early. That was yesterday. You sent that yesterday.
No. This is 6 days ago.
6 days ago.
I'm gonna tag you again.
All right. I don't know why I missed it.
You probably saw it and forgot or something. There.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, there's no hurry on that. I mean, we can't put it up yet anyway till we have the website.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll go over it a little more detail there. Yeah. Okay. I think I might have seen it, but I was busy and I never came back to it because I didn't have time to go over it when I first got the tag. Yeah. Okay. I'll put some comments in the sub once I check it out.
Okie dokie.
Do you guys have anything you want to talk about before I get into weird stuff now? Anything else?
No.
Not that I can think
I
of.
say weird stuff because Brian and I have been, you guys know, we've been working on this thing, Change AI's View subreddit.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about that if you want, Brian.
Yeah, well, maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Well, last we talked a couple of days ago, you said you were going to. We realized that we can't have like one post for all the subreddits. Each one needs its own designed post, which is going to take you a lot longer, of course.
Yes. And what subs do you think? I right off the bat we were talking about Sam Harris. Maybe.
Well, how about this? I'll just send you the list I already have.
Yeah.
And it's a long list. I use ChatGPT to help me make the list.
Yeah, I got that list, I think, already.
I think it's longer now. I'll send it to you again.
Okay. Yeah, give me a new one.
But you can keep adding to the list and.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's done.
Yeah. So. I got to target them individually, and we're thinking more along the lines of, trying to invoke some kind of like bring up specific issues. And
make it very relevant to the audience of that particular subreddit.
Of that subreddit, like on Sam Harris, they talk a lot about the Palestine-Israel conflict right now. A steady topic is whether or not there's free will. And anyway, so you know what?
Yeah, I mean, basically,
I get so sick of that topic.
I am too, Ernest. Actually, I am too. Yes,
it seems like everybody who really pushes that topic is really trying to prove that there isn't.
Yeah, yes.
There's few people out there trying to prove that there is, and the fact is, it's a ridiculous argument in the first place.
Well, my personal view is that there's a little bit of both going on. I can't see there being
absolutely.
No
That's what.
But there's.
But let's argue for the extremes.
Yes, yeah. There's somewhere in the middle.
That would be a better way to spend your time, is to figure out where in the middle it is, right? Instead of saying it either is or it isn't.
But there's lots of people that want to fight for, that there's no free will or that there is. And so anyway, I'd invite them to come and do it on our sub, and so
yeah, and that's two
specifically-
separate posts. You'd have one on free will, and you'd have a separate one on Israel Palestine. And I wouldn't put them together. Obviously, like you'd plan something where you design a post for Sam Harris Reddit, one around free will, and then 3 months later you do another one around Israel Palestine.
Yeah, you don't think I should just say we're looking for opinionated people to have hard discussions?
You might put them both concepts in.
Yeah,
the same
I would put a list of the different things that I think they talk about a lot on that sub.
Okay, you could try to do
That's
that.
what I thought. That's what
I thought you would
anyway.
pick one topic and really kind of hit it hard, so you can't really fit other topics.
Yeah, I could see your point there.
I mean, you did that with the Trump post that gathered 100 people to our subreddit. That was one topic, right?
Yeah. But that was a little.
You see the difference? That one worked, but the post you designed where it's like, hey, we can talk about anything. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right.
Absolutely. If it's like you try to talk about what's going on without referencing things that people are emotionally invested in some way, it doesn't go far. Most people have no time for it. It's very, very difficult.
And also,
and then when you start talking about what people are emotionally invested in, now you're breaking groups up into sides, right? It's really
now to analyze
difficult.
Brian's Trump Reddit post, he put his opinion in there, very clearly stated. And the other kind of post we were imagining where you're saying, hey, come and talk about this thing, and you're not putting your opinion in it, that's what makes no one care.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I'm saying it's not a solid road to go down. You risk separating the group, and what we need to do is bring the group together and feel that they're one, but they can still say what they want. But as soon as you start, and we can say, well, you can say that politics is like often controlled by the rich. But if you start naming Soros or the Chinese or people like that, now everybody picks a side. And then that puts us on whatever side they picked. And then whoever picks, like whatever side the people pick, then that becomes us. Which that's not what we want to be.
I think you're mixing it up though, because you're talking more about the KAOS subreddit and the whole KAOS plan, and we don't want to be picking sides in any way in the KAOS system. But here we're promoting this subreddit where we are trying to create two sides, and we want them to be able to engage in our system. So we're on this. When I'm going to post something on Sam Harris, I'm not going to bring up KAOS at all. We're only going to be talking about this sub, Change AI's View. And so the talking politics and stuff like this and picking sides and everything are not a big deal here. The way we're going to work this though is to tie it to KAOS. So the affiliation is very loose. And it's something like the podcast we want to do, and the way we use it as a marketing tool, though, is I expect to be able to argue with people on our new subreddit about the KAOS system, being the best way forward for us to go. So it's those arguments on the Change AI's View that I'm hoping to help recruit people. Not the Change AI View subreddit. The subreddit itself is its own entity, and it's just a tool that anybody could use to promote their arguments in any way. And I plan on using it to promote our argument about this being the best way to move forward as far as governing here on Earth. So you understand what I'm saying? So
I do not.
Yeah, when I make a post, on and as you were saying earlier, you guys were saying if I show a strong opinion, I'm more likely to get, if I ask for two people of various opinions, yeah, but I think you guys are right in the sense that if I take a position when I make a post on there, like if I were to say I don't believe in free will, come and argue with me, I think I'll have more chance of getting somebody to come and argue with me than if I post on there, can I find somebody that will take one position and somebody that will take the other position and get them to come and argue. Kind of what you said there, Rami, about it's very vague and, I don't
think it sparks anyone's interest if you just say, hey, you want to talk about free will without saying your opinion about it.
Yeah. Which now is a bit of a hindrance to me because I'm not confident I can argue about free will.
Maybe you and I should have a ChatGPT discussion first.
Well, yeah, this is my point though. It's going to be a big learning curve if I'm going to take that position. There's only a couple.
I bet you can get it done in a day. I'll convince you in a day.
Well, maybe you should be the one arguing that, taking that position.
You mean writing some part of your post? Is that what you mean?
I know I could post it up there and say, I got a friend, Rami, that wants to take you on free will.
Okay, sure. I did a live stream about free will.
Yeah.
And I've been talking about it, I've talked about it a lot with Sam Harris people.
Yeah.
And of course, Muslims and ex-Muslims. And
so are you on the side? Where do you sit? Maybe we should find out where you're.
We have free will, but not the magical, stupid kind. You know what I mean? Because the original conception of free will that religions have is that they got we have a magical thing independent of nature that gives us the ability to do shit, and that's crazy. But we still have free will, but it matches the laws of physics. It doesn't go against the laws of physics.
Okay.
And that means
it's a complex discussion you're starting, Rob.
Well, yeah. It's very complex. But if you're confident, if you can state your position in a good, clear way, that I could try to find somebody on Sam Harris that wants to oppose you, I would definitely do that.
Sure. And I think you'll find some on Sam Harris.
Yeah.
And a lot of them just go with what Sam Harris says. But I'm sure there's plenty that
there's differing views.
But they'd be on my side. That wouldn't really work.
Yeah. Okay. So we could try that. I was going to say, I only have a few. I feel very strongly that I can argue for majority rule. That's one area that I feel very confident I can argue for. I'm not sure what subreddit I would be targeting for that, but I'm going to try to think of one.
Democracy.
Yeah.
Subreddit.
Yeah, the democracy subreddit, but they should be on my side already, but most aren't actually in the democracy subreddit.
Yes, I've been there. It's very strange.
Yeah. It's funny how many people are not actually pro-democracy that are on the democracy subreddit.
Then think they are.
Yeah.
Really feel they are. Really fucking think they are, and they're not.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yes. I'll try to figure out subreddits that I could find people that would oppose my view, and try to do that. I'm trying to think now. There are a couple other things I could argue with people with. At the moment, they're not coming up in my mind, though.
It might be better than that. I'm the one that actually posts the thing to Sam Harris because I'm the one they would be talking with. But I still want you to design the post and then let me edit my argument part of it.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, we'll work together on it.
Try to change things so I don't sound like you.
I'll do a rough draft of some kind, and then you can try to work with that.
I just joined last week a subreddit called Artificial Intelligence, and they have been really talkative about how AI can change the world, how it can benefit everybody, and things like that. But yet they also come up with criticisms too. So it's a very rounded subreddit.
Yeah. Yeah, and those AI subreddits, there's a lot of them now, and there's ones that oppose AI. There's ones that there's an accelerationist one where they're just let it all go. Yeah,
Yep.
and then there's a control problem, a subreddit all about the issues that are going on. Anyway, there's quite a variety there. I don't. Once again, there are probably some good arguments to be had in there, but I don't want to. I don't feel. I could do either side of that argument or any
right.
of those arguments.
Well, the main reason why I joined it, because we're dealing with AI. So I feel, this way I can get some information that can help answer any questions I may have that we wouldn't have readily available here, as well as see potential pitfalls as well as potential workarounds.
Yeah.
So it's
it's
I
good.
did it
it's good. Yeah, you want to stay up on this stuff. Yeah, and we're definitely going to be. A lot of this stuff is going to involve us. Our system here is heavily involved in that. So, we want to learn as much as we can in this area. So I wanted to mention if anybody else, and if anybody's listening to this podcast or this video, whatever meeting, bear in mind if you have a position that you would like to argue and you feel you can argue well, let me know, and we'll try to find you an opponent for our subreddit. So,
I got to tell you, Brian. So, somebody tried to do the discussion with the AI as moderator in the Change AI's View subreddit.
With you,
he posted something, but without the link. And I was trying to be helpful to get him to do it right, but he quit. I think it's been a week.
Yeah, and you know who that is? You don't know who that is? I'm pretty sure that's Brian L.
Oh,
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's his username. When I saw that there, I recognized it, and I'm pretty sure that's his username. I didn't double check it, but I came across that post, and I meant to go back. I was
working on one, but I couldn't figure out how to do the link thing.
Oh, maybe that was you then, Edward. Was it you?
I remember his because it says Linux in it.
Yeah, mine's Linux rocks.
Maybe I'm mixing them up. So you guys tried it too, and you didn't.
Yeah, I've tried it. And I tried it. I started doing it, but I never posted the actual process because I couldn't figure out how to do the link.
Were you in the browser or the app?
I was in the browser.
So at the top right, there's a share button.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. Let me look you real quick. Pull up chat. Oh, I see it now. Okay.
I have a hard time finding these link buttons too, man. I was frustrated there when Rami and I were trying to do it there. I got really frustrated a few times, not being able to figure out how to send that link, and I go back to Reddit and I'd lose the conversation. Yeah. But it's easiest to work within the browser. We found that if I started the thing in my ChatGPT app, and then I sent it to Rami, and he worked with it in the browser, I guess. And when he sent it back to me, it came in my browser. When I hit the link, it was in my browser, and then I could open my app and have it go into the app. When I did that, I could not. It would not allow a link again to send back to Rami. So I had to stay in the browser. And if I worked with it in the browser, I always got a link. And so we were able to go back and forth just in the browser. So I started in the app, but I never went back to the app. Because if I did that, I lost the ability to send.
Subreddit. Me and Brian, because we've been working on this, we ended up in a subreddit and found out they have an AI agent that replies to posts and comments. And I wanted to know what the fuck that is. So I asked ChatGPT, how the fuck do I set this up for my shit? And it explained something kind of obvious, I guess. You'll probably know this when I say it. You have to set up your own hosted Reddit bot. And you got to put some code in there that talks through ChatGPT or lets ChatGPT, directly interact with your Reddit. And then I looked into the cost of it, and I talked with Brian about it, and he wants to try it. Of course, a whole bunch of shit has to be done first for you before you start the new project. And the idea is eventually we could have a subreddit where instead of having people go outside of it to go to ChatGPT or some other AI to use it externally with their free AI, we could have it directly in the subreddit. And by the way, there's a limitation though, which is should be obvious. It's only one AI.
Yeah.
And Brian,
That's
you
right,
kind of like the idea of multiple AIs.
Well, well, originally I was thinking people could pick whichever AI they want, but right now we're restricted to only one anyway. We couldn't find a way to share the conversations on Grok or any of the other AIs. So only ChatGPT seems to have this feature, and it's limited. So we have to screw around to make it work. So far, but I suspect that eventually they will, all of them will have this type of feature. And maybe if they see our sub, that might even encourage them that it would be a good idea. And so hopefully eventually they could use any AI. But so Rami, if we did have a designated AI that we're paying for to work in our sub, that doesn't restrict any new AIs to allow that they come out with a link. Somebody could still use that AI.
You're right. They could do both.
They could do either way. It's just going to be easier to use ours, because it's already into the sub.
Right.
But it doesn't restrict.
And then I thought of something else. For the people that are having trouble even doing this, what if we made a video explaining exactly how to do it?
I think that would be a good thing. I think that'll help get people to understand how to do it, because there's a lot of people out there that are wanting to get into it, like myself, for example, that don't completely understand the process.
Yeah, and it really took Brian a lot of trial and error before he figured it out.
Yeah.
So I could see that being a barrier, but with a video it could help.
Yeah.
I guess I'll write that down. Make video explaining how to do it.
So that bot that chimed in on the post we made on that AI sub, whatever it was called there, AI agents, wasn't it? What was the sub we posted?
AI agent is what you said.
Yeah.
I don't know what sub it
AI
was.
agent.
I can find it though if you want.
Yeah, the one anyway, and the AI bot got back to us, and it was quite interesting because it actually fed us some great information. It gave us links to studies that AI is doing,
and then we updated our post with those Harvard studies.
Yeah, so that was really actually quite beneficial.
We got helped by that AI agent. Yeah.
So that's a neat feature anyway, and those arguments it's encouraging to us. It makes it sound like they've had some good results with this type of thing. So anyway, it's encouraging. But it's a slow rollout so far.
It's something like what is it? Resolutions were found in disagreements. Without the AI help, it was like 25%, but with AI help, it's 38%.
And I think there's a compounding factor there too. When you have, if other people observe the discussion, you're going to change minds. You might be having a discussion with one guy, and you don't change his mind, or you don't have much of an effect on him. But other people watching this or looking at these discussions will find it fascinating to see how it's argued out, and it may very well make an impression on them in various ways. So it's not just affecting the two people that are involved. Hopefully there's more of an effect on top of that, as far as developing good arguments and swaying people. So I don't know. I'm really excited to see a really volatile type of a topic being discussed there, and see how well that goes, and what the results will be. Some of these things I have to wonder what AI will pick. Oh, here's another little test I did, Rami. I was wondering if there's certain things AI would refuse, to even discuss. They're not allowed to do certain things, right? So anyway, I out and out asked my Chat GPT, and I thought this was pretty controversial. I asked it whether or not it would judge and moderate a debate, and I just made up another name. I said between me and Tom, made up a name, and I said a debate on whether or not Israel should exist. Now that's very controversial to put it that way, whether or not it should exist at all, right? And that's a very controversial thing. And I don't really have a position, on it, but I just wanted to see whether or not it would agree to actually moderate such a discussion, right? And it did. It came out with a big statement about how volatile this is and how we're going to have to navigate this discussion very carefully. But then it was, let's go. So I just thought that was
maybe you should ask it this. Maybe you should ask it this: what topics are you not willing to talk about?
Well, yeah, maybe I could ask it that. Yeah, because I am kind of wondering: is there a boundary? Are some topics just?
But wouldn't that be weird for ChatGPT to answer that? Because it's trying to keep it hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is it trying to hide it? It won't do explicit material. So it tells you it won't do explicit material. It's not trying to hide it. I don't know I don't think it would try to hide it. I think it would just say, no, I can't talk about that.
Well, let me say it another way. The programmers want it hidden. I'm not sure how ChatGPT effectively manifests that motivation.
Yeah.
Well, I just ran it, and it's got a list.
Oh, you tried it. What does it say?
Yeah, I just ran. Here, hold on a second. Here's
put it on the
everything.
Screen.
Yeah, I'm going to. Let me get back to the right screen here so I can do it. Share screen. There we go. Okay, it's ready to be. There we go.
Can you make it bigger somehow?
Yeah, pull it up.
Some more?
A little better. How to commit crimes. Okay.
Yeah.
Self-harm and suicide.
That's interesting. It's talking about how to commit crimes, because I saw a post somewhere where somebody was saying I was talking to ChatGPT and it was advising me to commit crimes.
Yeah, it's crazy the way it did it, because I mean, even sits there and says these are topics I cannot work on.
Yeah.
And what was your prompt exactly? Can I see your prompt?
Yeah, give me just a second. Let me
just scroll up.
Well, it's not wanting to scroll up for me through the thing.
Oh. There.
What dangerous medical advice? According to who?
You know, it's a separate thing, though, to ask it what it will judge on. That's separate than what it will talk about. So that might be a whole different area, a whole different
ask
list.
It again.
Or ask it what?
Or like,
all right, give me a second here. Wow.
It just says harmful disinformation. That's so vague.
Yeah, I know.
It's terribly vague. It's frighteningly vague.
What was your question again, Brian?
What if you were to ask it? If you, I don't know, I'm not sure how you'd phrase it, but what my point is that if you ask it in a different way, like just because it won't talk about, let's say how to do a crime or something.
Okay.
If two other people are talking about it, can it judge? Could it judge something like that? Just because it can't talk about a subject matter doesn't mean it can't judge a certain subject matter. Let me see which one of these.
Like who's judge what? Whose MO is going to be more effective?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I put down, can you judge what a couple of people were talking about? And yes.
Is there any limits to that judgment, though?
Yeah.
Is there any limits?
Or is there any limits to the topics you're willing to moderate?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Put it like that. Yeah, you got it.
Any limits that they can moderate about?
Are there any limits to the topics on the topics that you're willing to moderate?
I'm trying to think of a really hard topic. Execution. Should we execute somebody for certain things? That would be a tough one. I don't know.
Here's what we came up with.
Make a monitor.
It's a lot smaller list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of spouting off stuff.
Yeah. Well, they only go into loop, but I mean, one of the things here, I can or will not moderate conversations that include illegal, abusive, or exploitive content, or use to spy, manipulate, or harass anyone.
I think it's just guessing too. I don't even know that. That it's accurately describing itself.
I think it would probably. Here's a good example. I think it would be the use of torture, because that fits under the category here of abusive and exploitive material or content, right? And but that would be a fairly common thing to discuss, is whether or not torture is a smart thing to do or a good idea, or what do we call it, against our immoral
word, make it a concept. So I would do something like, is the question of whether torture is okay in some scenarios an acceptable topic that you would moderate?
Yeah. Or even more controversial would be if you were moderating a discussion about whether or not torture could find results, whether or not, not whether or not it's moral or not, but whether or not it works. And that's even more controversial, I think, because it's omitting the moral aspect of it. And it's a highly controversial thing. It's a hot topic whether or not torture actually does any good, and you actually get any good information out of it. But that really talks about degrees of torture and methods of torture. So it's very gruesome. It gets very
So here,
volatile.
I give you a prompt in the private chat. Maybe try that.
Okay, I'm coming. Let's get to the right one here. Okay. Now I'm only on the free thing, so after a while I'm going to be, you're not able to use GPT 4.0. You got to go to a lower level.
Yeah, I got that too.
There's all these other features too, like you can have it think more and options like this. What does that do even? They what is it? They give you these options.
There, it answered, Brian. It said yes.
Yes, I can absolutely help moderate.
So yeah, I don't know if there's going to be any restrictions
about whether torture achieves its intended purpose.
Wow.
As long as the conversation approached analytical, respectfully, and within ethical and legal frameworks.
Well, what's ethical and legal frameworks? The torture or the discussion? What does it mean there?
I think the discussion.
Yeah. So you can discuss unethical torture, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking there might not be any restrictions at all on what we can talk about, but we'll have to see what happens in the future.
We jailbroke ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I've broken ChatGPT a couple of times working on coding things. I sat there and put a code in. It's like, okay, how can I fix this? And it just went, and completely I'm not responding anymore. I had to shut it down and restart all over again.
Was it at least saying I'm working on it?
No, it went completely dead.
I've had a little bit of that.
Is there anything like that at all? I'm like, oh great, I broke ChatGPT.
I've had a little bit of that.
I think it does it kind of randomly. I've had it just stop too and not allowed to continue.
It's like you confuse it or something.
Yeah. But there's also a limit on the conversation. You get too far and then it says you have to start a new conversation. Right?
I haven't had that yet.
No,
I ran into that just last week.
Yeah. When I was going hard on it all day kind of thing, and then all of a sudden it would do that. Yeah.
I've been hearing reports recently in the past week from a lot of people on the ChatGPT subreddit saying that ChatGPT is now fucked up, and everyone's saying the same thing. It's like they say it's been tracking my history for years, and all of a sudden it forgot me, everything about me.
Yeah.
And I haven't had that.
Yeah.
It remembers
I
everything
haven't had
about
that
me.
either.
I haven't done the experiment yet, Rami, that you were suggesting there, that to see how much it knows from my
Yeah, and I didn't
discussions
want
in
to
the
show you
past.
the answer it gave me until you showed me
Until
yours.
I did it. Yeah, I haven't tried that yet. No.
I'll have to try that.
Here, let me
Yeah.
give you the prompt that I used.
Yeah.
How am I going to find this? Let's see. Here. Was it this one? Oh, here it
Yeah,
is.
I am interested to do some experiments there and see if it does remember anything from my past.
So here's the prompt I gave ChatGPT. And there was a couple of mistakes it made. It said that let me read this. It said that I handled a Linux server setup. I never did that. I was asking ChatGPT to help me do a server setup, but it wasn't Linux. Maybe he was suggesting Linux, but anyway, you see what I mean? It made a little mistake there.
Uh-huh.
But everything else it said it was right.
It does make
that's-
mistakes. It
Yeah.
doesn't always get it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we're talking about here, Ernst, is memory. Rami says that even though he starts new conversations with it, it has some memory from past conversations with him. And he did a prompt, and it showed
And
him past things.
every AI is different in how it deals with that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm
Some
sure.
have a
I wanna-
little memory, some have none.
I plan on going over to Gemini and see what this prompt will do.
Is that the one you use most?
No, I usually use ChatGPT. I've been looking into the other bots though.
Yeah, well,
I
it's if you
Hello,
don't
we got a
use
new
Gemini
person.
very much, then it's not going
That's Rhonda, my wife.
Hello.
Hi, Ron.
Hi, Rhonda.
She
So I was going to
enjoys
say, if
picking
you
on
don't
me.
use Gemini much, then it can't say much about you.
No, but I can work with Gemini and see what it comes up with. I mean, I was actually impressed with the information that it came up with that prompt on ChatGPT. I mean, it's
I was
actually
very
fairly
impressed by another
accurate with me.
another thing I did. I found somebody suggesting a prompt. It's a very long prompt, but it's basically saying one thing. It's saying, "What's my biggest flaw?" Okay, but it's a very long prompt saying basically that. And I did that in ChatGPT. First thing it said was wrong. I challenged it, and I know why it said it though, because it made sense, but it was wrong. I challenged it. Then it said another thing. That one made sense, but it was wrong too. I challenged it. Third thing was wrong. I challenged it. Fourth or fifth thing, it said something good, and it led me to doing the next thing in my organization. I'm making a tactical manifesto, a one-page document explaining our principles, what we're working on, and giving calls to action to do everything all in one document. And I knew eventually I was going to have to do this, but I didn't realize you can make a manifesto that's tactical in the sense that it has calls to action. Every manifesto I've ever seen just says, here's my beliefs. Now believe me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now it's actually doing a call of action.
Yes. And ChatGPT gave me that idea.
Yeah.
After 5 bad ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's some benefits there for sure.
I've been working on the Constitution for the group.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to base it loosely on the Debian Linux operating systems Constitution. I'm going to have something put together hopefully this afternoon. I'll have it up on Google Docs so you can get it. I'll email y'all, and
Okay.
I've got it posted
I
up.
bet you we need to send it to Ernst. We need to make it concise.
Yes.
I bet
Well,
you.
and that's why I'm going to put it up, because he seems to be the wonder man of words. So I've been
Brian
reading your
and
book,
Ernst,
Ernst.
Like it?
I do so far. I do.
Oh, good.
It's
Some people
opening
find
my
it
mind
very
on some-
difficult to read.
said in the book, it is a heavy read.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
It is, but yeah, I'm working on that. I do have a question in reference to this, though. One of the
Go ahead.
things our Constitution will be dealing with is our voting processes and that. But my question is, are we leaning more towards, like, if we have someone wanting to get into taking over one of our positions, are we looking more at merit? Would it be more of a meritocracy?
Are you talking about the organization putting it together?
The organization itself. I
Well-
think our best bet would be a meritocracy on this, because whatever we're being, whoever's being replaced, we want them to be replaced with someone who can continue doing the same thing.
Yeah, but I don't know if we need to label it that so much. I think everybody will take it into account. What if somebody comes along and they seem to have a whole lot more experience in a specific area, I think everybody would be encouraging them to take over that position. So I don't think we have to spell it out that the meritocracy. Without, I think people just have that in the back of their minds in general. They want the best person in the position.
Yeah,
Right.
I think so.
Well, and that's why I
Yeah.
questioned it, because I wanted to get everyone's input on it.
If the democracy is pure, it will be a meritocracy.
Right, exactly.
Yes. I like that. Maybe even put that in there in those words, just like that. If we do it right, it is a meritocracy.
Yeah, that's just it. Like I said, I'm doing a loosely one, and I'll probably have Ernst fine tune it, because he's the man of words here. It seems like, my stuff's more on the technical side. Not that I'm not.
I like the way Ernst put that right now.
He said, "If the democracy is pure, then it's a meritocracy.
It will be a meritocracy. Yeah.
Then it will be." It will
A
be
meritocracy.
a meritocracy.
How about inherently it's
I'm
a meritocracy?
quoting you.
No, let's stick with Ernest. Yeah, Ernst. I'll get it right eventually.
Ernst, remind me your last name again.
Ritzman.
Ritzman.
R-I-T-Z.
R-I-T-Z-M-A-N.
2 N's.
2 N's. So at the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just made a comment.
Well, like I said, I'll try to get that quickly put together today as a rough draft, get it up on Google Docs, let everyone know. Ernst, I don't have your email, I don't think. I'll have to look. If not, I'll forward it to Rami, and
Rami can give you my email.
Okay, that'll be fine. That way, I like that down there at the bottom, how that's set up. That way, it's perfect. That way we've got it across.
Yeah. Your email should be on the group email anyway, right? You should be able to just look up the group email.
Yeah, I didn't think about
Alerts.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll get it taken care of. I
So
do
the
like our
logo
little
we
banner
have
there.
makes me think of the like a game app on your phone, but the kind of game that is very easy, like for people that don't really get advanced in games. That's what that logo looks like, the style of it. I'm not sure that's good though, but I wanted it.
I wanted it to be something that's going to lock into their memory. They're going to be like, that's cool, and they're going to keep coming back. That's the whole thing. I'm using that as a draw for them to keep coming, because they're going to see, here every time. That's what I was leaning at. It's not a game. We're dealing with real life here.
All right. So do we have anything else to talk about, or should we end early? I like to end early.
Sure.
I'm good.
Coming fine. Yeah.
Oh, and Ernst and I still have 15 minutes to talk. We got to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's end it here then.
Edward
guys.
and you. Edward and
Yeah.
you.
Oh, not Ernst. You're right, Edward.
Yes.
Too many E's. Sorry, guys.
Too many E's, yeah.
Okay. See y'all
Like
later.
we have Brian
Okay.
L in that here.
All right.
Too many Brians.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
Bye.
All right.